My lips are on fire. I tried a new plumping lip gloss and they are so tingly. They feel really weird. What's up guys? Welcome back. Today we are discussing shimmer goos. Shimmer goos, that's just the name that I have given like liquid highlights, shimmery primers, balm highlights, stick highlights, the kinds of things that we sometimes are sold on social media where they will apply the product to very young skin, very youthful skin, and they will shoot photos of it in natural light, and we are led to believe that it's going to make us look balmy and dewy and ageless and effortless. And then when we get it in our hands, we realize that it either doesn't have the effect that we thought it was going to, or that it, because of the formula or the behavior of it, doesn't even really have a place in our routines. So I have an entire box of all of my shimmer goos here, and I'm letting memory serve me a little bit too on some of the ones that I've decluttered. I am going to do fewer declutters going forward because I still think that it's important to be able to show you guys products that I don't like. And as usual, when I do best and worst, I typically talk about, you know, practicality, performance, texture, things like that, and I'm going to try and describe these and show them to you as best as I possibly can so that you understand the nature of the way that they behave, because I get a lot of questions about this stuff. So do you need every single shimmer goo that I have in your collection? Absolutely not. Hopefully this helps you make some decisions. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, I'm going to start kind of in the order that you would put it on your face. So we're going to start with like primers, and in this case, the Super Goop Glow Screen. So this is actually the only sunscreen that I have here. So that is what the Super Goop looks like. It does have a little bit of a tint to it because of the shimmer. And when it blends out, it just kind of becomes a golden glow. But on the skin, that is not just wetness, that is shimmer. And it is going to shimmer on your skin, and it's going to give you a glowy, primed situation to put your makeup on top of, but it's very thin. I like how thin it is. It is a chemical sunscreen. It is SPF 40, and it really does give you like a really beautiful sun-kissed glow. I find it to be a little bit much. Like, I wouldn't wear it alone just with concealer because it will kind of make you look like a golden tin man a little, but I do think that it goes beautifully underneath makeup, which is kind of what it's meant to do. And as far as practicality, I think that it's cool to include a shimmery product in with your sunscreen, and as far as color profile, it is decidedly golden. This is a weird video to swatch. It's what's held me off from making this video for a long time, because a lot of people keep asking me, they're like, well, you know, what's the difference between this one and this one? How do you compare this one with this one? And I'm like, okay, I want to swatch all these things, but I also want to make sure you can see what the heck is going on. So the next is the Thrive Brilliant Face Brightener, a play on words from the Brilliant Eye Brighteners. And this is an illuminating primer. There's no sunscreen in anything else that I'm going to be talking about today. And this has a champagne kind of color profile to it, and it is super, super lightweight, almost cooling on the skin. I'm not sure if they mean it to be cooling. It doesn't have like anything minty, but it does feel really like, I don't know, it just feels really nourishing. It feels like a skincare product. It feels like a drink of water for your skin. It's really, really nice, and it's not as gold, which is, I just think it's a little bit more universal. You know, it's not gonna go ashy. It's not super, super icy, but it's also not that gold that's gonna make it look like you have a line of demarcation on skin as light as mine. And I have found that the Thrive primers do elongate the performance and the wear time of your makeup, and that is kind of, you know, the whole point in this case. So it does give you this really, really gorgeous, I think, a sophisticated glow. I don't think that that is in any way like spacey looking. When I say spacey, I mean like, you know, does it reflect like an unnatural color? Does it look like, you know, Y2K vibes? And it doesn't. I think that like anybody could wear that. All right, next, honestly, probably one of my favorite, and I'm not even sure that this counts as a shimmer goo. Does it actually have any shimmer to it, or is it more just a glow goo? We shall see, but I did want to include this. This is the Glossier Future Dew. I mean, I'm gonna keep it in here, but like, it's pretty much just a glow goo. It might have a little bit of a reflection to it, but it's not, there's absolutely no like glitter particles to that. It's just a sheen on the skin. I guess it's just more of a wet texture, but because it's so oil-based, I find that it mixes so beautifully with other makeup products, like other complexion products, especially the Danessa Myricks Vision Cover. Oh my God, when you put them together, it is so beautiful. But I think that I was misled by, you know, just the iridescent packaging. We tend to think that that means that the inside is going to be shimmery. Just for clarification's sake, this is not shimmery. Oh, I also want to mention this. This is brand new. So Aether Beauty has rebranded, and they have dropped the E's in their name, so it's just ATHR. And they sent me this Desert Moon Illuminating Oil. It's got diamonds in it. It's super limited edition, and it's so unbelievably beautiful. I think that Aether, man, that is their thing. They really get shimmer. And this is not, just like everything else in Aether's line, not backing away from the beautiful wet look crushed diamond kind of situation. And so that's it, really dense. And then if you rub it in kind of the way that you're supposed to, I think, you know, so that it's nourishing on your skin and not just sitting there, it is actually, I think, like a very wearable, pretty, shimmery texture on the skin. I just love the way that that hits the light. Oh my goodness gracious. And it has kind of a rose gold thing to it. Rosy, not even rose gold, rose pearl kind of colorway to it. Absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I said I was going to mention some of the ones that I don't like. The ones that I have decluttered, I don't love the Westman Atelier one. It's a little too slippy and I feel like it does push my makeup around. And for those of you who are like ready with your typing fingers, I know that there are a lot of recommended ways to use it as under your makeup or a primer or things like that. I have used it a whole lot of different ways, and I'm not saying it's a bad product. I just don't like the way that it performs, and it's a very expensive product, and so I wouldn't recommend it, you know? I also really don't like the Say Beauty Dew Balm. It really doesn't do anything for me. It is a very, very strong example of something that is shot in, you know, beautiful lighting on young skin, and when you get it, it makes no sense at all. Also, and again, just halt the typing fingers because I would never recommend that someone spend their money on this, the Jones Road Miracle Balm. I cannot get behind it. It's sticky, it's gross, and I don't understand it. So there are people out there who really, really stan these products, and I understand that, but from my recommendation, which is what I give on my channel, I don't recommend those products. Now, we got kind of a bad taste in our mouths after the second release from Lauren Conrad. So this is her liquid highlighter. It is gold. It is the only shade, well, it's the only shade that was in her collection when I reviewed it. I'm not sure what she's come out with since, but she did pull her bronzer because there was only one shade in it, so I think that she had to kind of wise up to her ignorance for the conversation pretty quickly. I don't really care for this. It just kind of is what it is, and it's intended to be universal, and in that I feel like it kind of misses the mark. You know, yes, gold is going to look good on medium and deep skin tones a lot of the time, although, you know, not to discount the fact that some people with medium and deep skin tones have cool undertones, so it's not even going to look good on everybody, but the gold just doesn't really do it for me either. It's a little bit too deep, and I just don't really care for it, and it's a little bit overpriced to me. Okay, back to priming situations. The Becca Light Shifter Dewing Tint is great. I think that it is great, and if you can pick this up while Becca is still, you know, on the market, I would highly recommend it. It is intended to be a complexion product, so it comes in a shade range of complexion shades. And I have it in the shade Luminary 1. If you can't find this stuff online and you are near an Ulta, and Sephora, actually, I went to an Ulta 2 days ago and Sephora yesterday, and they had a good bit of Becca in stock in store. So a lot of this stuff is pretty hard to come by online, but I highly recommend, you know, just going to your local, safely going to your local beauty purveyor, because they have a lot of stuff in stock. I really, really enjoy this, and it is kind of similar to the new Auric Glow Lust from Sam Ravindall's line. I got this in selenite, and I kind of wish I'd gone for the fairer, the very lightest shade, but this does work. The biggest difference between this and the Becca Light Shifter is that this has an unbelievable amount of blurring. It just, oh my gosh, what it does for your pores. It has some built-in like self-leveling situation where it just adds the dewiest, most gorgeous finish on your skin, but it does have a little bit of a set down, a little tiny bit of like a dry down, so that when your makeup goes on top of it, it's not slipping around everywhere. And it does function also as a highlighter. It's just kind of a universal glow situation. Oh, I also don't own the Hollywood Flawless filter, so sorry about that. I used to. It's fine, it's a little bit thin, but I do prefer both of these to the Hollywood Flawless filter all day long. Okay, so a couple more kind of primers and all over situations. We have the Vesca Soft Sun Radiant Skin. They did send this to me. I have all the shades of it. This is the shade Dawn, and it is lavender, like an iridescent lavender, and it is really, really cool. However, it doesn't give me as much shimmer as I hope for from a product like this. It is more just kind of a wet texture. It's very, very lightweight, and it feels cooling, not intended to be cooling, but it feels cool on the skin very similarly to the Thrive. I would really liken it to the Thrive, except it doesn't have as much shimmer to it. It is more almost a reflective tone, the way that it's lavender, you know? I'm not sure if it's meant to be kind of color canceling or anything like that, but I don't find that the color in them, the pigment in them, is strong enough to justify owning more than one. I don't think that, you know, they do enough kind of color cancellation for you to, you know, agonize over which color you choose. And they are beautiful under makeup. They elongate the wear time of your makeup because it's a little bit sticky, but the shimmer is kind of inconsequential to me. Another lavender one that we just recently talked about, this is the Danessa Myricks Illuminating Veil Liquid Highlighter. And this, wow, I just put a full pump on my hand. That was probably idiotic. This is a true shimmer goo, a true liquid highlighter, and you watched me in that video start by priming my whole face with it, and when you do that, it is glittery. I'm like not really sure that that's what it's intended for, but the beauty of Danessa Myricks' line is that there are so many use cases for everything. They're just beautiful colors and textures and formulas, and then she leaves it really open to interpretation as to how you wear them. I got some requests in the comments from people basically saying, you know, can you please try using the Color Fix matte as a blush, like things like that, because that's exactly what her line intends to do, is just give you the tools to be creative. And so this is absolutely gorgeous if that's your aesthetic. You know, it is a really good kind of metallic sheen, but it also has glitter particles to it. And I love a lavender highlight personally. As you guys can see, I like cool tones. I like a little bit of the right kind of purple on my skin tone. And I think that this is an absolutely lovely formula. It's lightweight enough, but it does have a little bit of a serum-y bounce to it, and you get an abundance of it in the package, and it does come in multiple shades, and I just really, really like it for what it kind of sets out to do. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear, dear. I'm really trying hard to get it off of my hand every time so that it doesn't look like, you know, I'm just accumulating lots and lots of different highlighters each time, so if my hand turns red, that's why. Okay, and my last kind of liquid highlight is honestly one of my absolute favorite delivery systems and appearances for a liquid highlight on the market, and this is the Daniel Sandler Watercolor Liquid Cheek Color, and I have it in the shade Moon Glow. The problem here is that in America, you can only get this shade if you buy it in a set. So it comes in a set with 2 blushes, a shimmery bronzer, which is just as beautiful. It's called Sun Glow, and then this one. So Moon Glow is a perfect kind of medium rose pearl, and it has absolutely no ashiness or like pigment to it on the skin, and the way that it looks underneath light is just so barely there, but just so perfect. You put this on and you look like your skin is better. You know, it doesn't look like a highlighter, it looks like this kind of unreal skin situation, and it photographs beautifully. Like, I want to rub it all over my whole body. Okay, one that I keep around because it cost me a fortune, but I don't ever use and I'm not a huge fan of, is the Westman Atelier Super Loaded Tinted Highlight. I have it in Peau de Pêche. They have come out with more shades recently. This is in this really, really heavy metal packaging, very luxurious, but I just don't totally understand why it has such like a deep shade. They all do. None of them is a pearly kind of, you know, translucent highlight shade. They all look kind of like blushes. And I totally understand that on other skin tones that is a highlight, but there isn't one for me. And that's totally fine, but I just kind of wish I'd known that going in, that when I bought this, it's gonna be more of a blush. Okay, so we were talking about spacey highlights. Rituel de Fille is a very good example of a spacey highlight. So this is the shade Solaris. This is their Rare Light Luminizer, and it has a Pat McGrath kind of reflect to it, you know, where it just shifts so many different ways in the light. It kind of goes red, it kind of goes orange, it kind of goes pink, it kind of goes gold. And this is the most, oh, what is the word? Wearable, normal, what is my hair doing? It's the most like beige adjacent of the colorways in this Rare Light Luminizer. The rest of them, you know, start to shift blue and green, you know, and that's totally awesome and fine. And I think that this is really, really beautiful, but I just don't reach for it that often. It's a great formula. It does smell like lavender. That's, you know, it's just a valuable thing to know if you are really, really anti-essential oils. It does have a lavender essential oil in it, but it's extremely beautiful, and it does have that like ethereal, otherworldly kind of shift to it. I really like it. I should get more use out of it, but I just, maybe we need to just like keep this out so that I reach for it more often, but it's very, very pretty. Someone has recently asked, in about 10 different places, which is one of the reasons that I'm making this video, how the Merit Beauty highlighter compares to the Ilia. Now, the reason that I didn't answer in the comments is because Ilia has more than one Shimmer Goo. They have a liquid light serum highlighter, and then they also have the illuminator stick. So the Merit Beauty highlighter is one of my favorite things that I have gotten recently, just because it is so slippy, but it's like, I don't know, it doesn't have that kind of funky fish tank shift that the Westman Atelier does. And it's just so slippy that like you can just put it on top of just about anything, and if you're careful enough, it won't disturb anything that you put it on top of, because it's just got this really, really funky texture to it. I do think this comes in more than one shade. I think so. There's like a deeper rose gold. And the way that this compares to the Ilia, to answer your question, is it doesn't really. It's gonna get all over me. Maybe I'll just unscrew the lid. I'm not really sure what's going on here. The liquid light from Ilia is one that I was very skeptical of for a very long time. In fact, I bought it, decluttered it, and then they sent it to me. And I took a master class with Jenna Anton, and she showed us how to use it. And actually, I really like it now. You just have to use it very, very lightly. And I wouldn't use it on like a brush or anything like that, but it actually goes really beautifully on top of powder looks. And I have it in the shade Nova. So this is the Ilia right here, and then this is the Merit Beauty, and the Merit Beauty is wet. This dries down and goes to kind of a powder finish, and you can keep kind of spreading it out, but this really stays wet. And then the Polka Dots and Moonbeam shade is what I have in their original illuminator stick, and it is a stick, you know, like it's very much like a cream that is solid at room temperature. This is obviously a very pearly shade. It's actually more similar in shade to the Merit Beauty. By the way, I have the shade Kava in the Merit, but it is just, I mean, it very much behaves like something that's wax based, you know? It has like a chapstick feel to it, much more so than this, which is like, it's more like an oil That's the best way to describe this. It's so slippy, it's actually like a stick that feels like oil. Whereas this one feels waxy and the liquid light just feels like a serum. And to be honest, I don't get a lot of use out of the polka dots and moonbeams because it is so hard to get the product off of there because it is so stiff that I do prefer something just a little bit slippier. All right, rounding out the category here, I kind of want to mention the Venix Organics. They did send these to me a while back. I haven't heard much from this company in a while, but these are very, very pretty, but they're very glittery. So just be mindful of that. They come in 3 shades, and this one is Wedding Ring. And it is a really beautiful gold. They're really, really nice. You can use them, like they say that you can use them as like under eye illuminators and stuff. Some of the shades work for that and some of them don't. But this one is actually the less glittery of them. There are, I think there's one called First Christmas, and it is very glittery. Okay, very, very similar actually in delivery system to the Merit Beauty is the Uma Double Take Sculpt and Strobe Duo Stick. I have this in the shade White Pearl, and you would be surprised at, you know, how that shade, which looks quite pigmented, right? It's pink, it's decidedly pink. It actually looks great on me. And I was very skeptical at first because it does look like it's going to have too much color to, you know, to be a really good, like believable highlight on me, but it's gorgeous. It really is. They did a great job with this, and I highly recommend this whole situation because this is a super, super matte contour, and it's very, very pigmented. You get a lot of bang for your buck with these. But it is super creamy. I would not call it like oily the way that the Merit is either. All right, we have 2 more. I really enjoy this one. This is the Rare Beauty Liquid Luminizer. I have it in the shade Mesmerize, and it is so, so pretty. And you know, I haven't loved everything in her collection, but this is really, really easy to use. So it's just it's got a big doe foot applicator. We love to see it. And it has just enough slip and just enough pigmentation that it just, I don't know, it's just a really, really lovely, and man, this has a ton of shades in it, but I mean, this is a very, very good versatile shade. And I really enjoy the amount of kind of metallic shimmer to this that doesn't involve any real like detectable glitter particles. So it's a very sophisticated highlighter, and it's very, very easy to wear on a lot of different makeup looks. And finally, my last shimmer goo here, this is the shade Miko in the Triple Threat color stick from Thrive. This is it's just a great formula. It's a great delivery system. And they did update this, I think. I think that they, you know, when they released these new shades, they also updated the formula because I think that the old highlight, which I think was called Joy, not to be confused with the Rare Beauty Joy Blush, it was a little bit grainy. I feel like I could feel the glitter particles, and this is just so much smoother and so much more of just like a beautiful shimmery light catching texture. And it's in this pale pink shade. It's so gorgeous. Thrive does a really good job of making their stuff, the textures, very universally flattering to a lot of different like skin maturities. And I feel like this is very, very flattering on all skin maturities, you know? Everybody deserves a little bit of highlight, okay? So I think that that's all of my shimmer goos, guys. I hope that that helped to illuminate some of the nuanced differences between a lot of these products. And if you have any additional questions about them, feel free to ask those in the comments below. I will try to elucidate a little bit more. And if you did find this valuable, guys, do give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you did. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.